Welcome all to the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University. I am Dr. Kaluva Anita, Assistant Professor, Osmania University, Hyderabad. Today we are going to talk about sources of news. Have you ever wondered how reporters know what is happening around the world? News doesn't just fall from the sky. It comes from many different sources. From government reports and police update to protest, social media and personal context, every story begins with a clue. A smart journalist knows where to look, whom to talk to and how to verify facts. In today's lesson, we will explore the way news is gathered, from listening to various people, attending press meetings, checking online data to conduct interviews, and various tips how to conduct interview, the art of interviewing. So, let us dive in and understand how real news is found and shared. To begin with the news sources, reporters gather news from various sources, which you all also know. But some are public, like there are categories under that, something like press conferences, meetings and media monitoring. Others are personal contacts, which are considered as something like exclusive stories. So, like trusted contacts from either government or business, or even it can be from some citizens also. It can come from an ordinary person as well. So, reporters have various ways through which we get the information, and these two categories play a very crucial role in terms of providing news for all of us. So, what are the other sources that are also possible in terms of news gathering? Let us look into that, which includes listening to conversations, academic journals and official reports from police and even protest areas and health departments of various organizations, that could be government or it could be private organizations, and the entertainment industry, which is a very big industry, and telephone directories. We will go into these all types of sources little detail in coming slides. A good reporter verifies information and protects their sources at all costs. So, it is very important. If you are a journalist, you have to keep your sources in a very secretive manner. Otherwise, what happens is it becomes against to the ethics of the journalism, and the core principle of ethical journalism is that you protect your sources always. Protecting sources is a major thing, because reporters will have lot of pressure on them when they write some sensational stories. So, we will also try to know more about these things in coming slides. So, here are the categorization of various sources, from there we get the news. First and foremost quality a reporter should have is listening. How come listening can be a source of information? This question is very important to understand the concept, because when you are listening, you will get to know so many things. You will listen to the people who are affected by the incident. You will listen to the people who are investigating on the incident. So, by listening to them, you come up with some of your own understandings, and that makes you to write the story in a proper manner. Apart from that, what is the other category that is also possible? That is the academic journals. These academic journals are written by high professional working class. They will do proper research, they give proper quotations, they take content from various sources and give authentic information, which is very important. You have journals of all kinds. You have national journals, international journals and even local journals also. But according to the story, what kind of journal you are supposed to be following and how authentic is that journal also needs to be checked by the reporter. It is very important. Along with that, reports and statements. Where do you find them? Reports and statements are generally given by any organization when you go to cover a story. Suppose in case, imagine you have gone for a press conference. There every media organization person will be given with a press release, which consists of various details about what that person is going to talk. So, these reports and the statements that the minister is making or the people who are around that place of making also become your source of information. So, Next comes is the police source, a very important source of information. Police people give authentic information because you can attribute that content to the police information and then write. Nobody will question you because it has come from a proper legal source. Tomorrow if there is any issues associated with that, you can definitely say that this information has been gathered from police sources. So that keeps you also in safe mode, at the same time gives the accurate information. People have an option also to ask the authorities if there is any misinformation provided, and reporters will not fall into that trap. Then comes campaigns, protests, rallies and activities. Every next day we see this kind of situations happening around us. We find so many people conducting campaigns about environment, campaigns about safety measures, women issues, so many things. So these campaigns can be a great source of information. You have to go to there, talk to the people, take their opinion, why are they part of this campaign, or why are they part of this protest, why are they part of these rallies, what they wanted from this, what is that which is missing, because of which they have this particular agitation taken place, and then you cross check that with the police officials. Did they get the permission, and if the permission is provided, what are the ways in which this has to be done. So like that you have all these as one of the wonderful source of information. Definitely remember one point, we find all these kind of stories in our newspapers and in TV channels if you keenly observe. So all those are coming from various sources. No reporter writes anything on his own, and he is not supposed to be writing also on his own. That cannot be considered as a news. News always needs some supporting material from these kind of important sourcing informations. Now then comes the health authorities and hospitals. Health authorities means somebody who is in a very good position in an organization. Suppose for example a celebrity is joined in an hospital, so definitely they will come and wait at that particular hospital and ask them to give the bulletin. So if there are big personalities are involved, every now and then based on the severity of the case, they will be asked to talk about it, and they will come in front of the press and release the bulletin. Or there are any kind of scams or any kind of issues happening with the hospital also, you have an every right to go and talk to the authorities of that hospital to gain the information from them. Then comes the biggest industry, which is the entertainment industry. Entertainment industry is a very important industry. We have so many things included in entertainment. It's just not that films. We have television serials, reality shows, news, and everything comes into different kind of channels. We have number of channels in number of languages we have. So all that can be a source of information. So somewhere you see a program and there are some opinions on that program among the people, that can also be a information. So somebody is feeling about this particular program in this way. There are so many controversies going on stand-up comedies these days. That is one of the source of information. So how do the people feel about stand-up comedies, or how do people feel about reality shows where children, very young kids are put under a pressure to perform very well, what kind of a pressure they take. So you can make a story out of this kind of thing. So you talk to the parents of those kids, you talk to those kids, and you also talk to the organizers of the program. Like that you find lot of information from all of them, which is your source of information. So you attribute that to them who gave you sound bites or content from their end, and then you write it. It's nothing that your own information you are trying to give. Then telephone directories will help you in terms of tracing some content, some contacts. So you may not know where that particular place is located, especially with the government organizations and other things which generally do not change very often. So you can depend on them in terms of reaching to your sources or taking a lead for the next story. Then comes the very important and official sources. The official sources are very important. Everything that we see in the newspaper, 80 to 70% of this is associated with government and political parties and political leaders. So the sources that we get for this, what kind of sources? The government, legislature, judicial or corporate sector. So we get a lot of news officially from the government through news release. They every day release whatever the state governments are doing, what the central governments are doing, what RBI is doing, what SEBI is doing. Like that we have so many government organizations which release information news for all of us, which has become a very important source for journalists. These releases usually have a contact persons also. We can talk to them and dig deeper. So it is your level of understanding. This news releases are going to be common to all the people, but you as a journalist have some new point, and you as a journalist have something new to know. Definitely the contact person whose name is mentioned in the news release can be taken and contacted and give a different angle to the story. So, this is what you are trying to do from your end with your own knowledge and capacity and capability. So, that is why we do not find the same kind of write up and everything, because as I told you in various classes, where journalism or the arts sector is a creative area, everybody has their own scope, and the way they wanted to write, they can do it. So, here you look at the story, maybe the story is same in all the papers, but the way you present depends upon the research and the understanding you have towards the concept. And it is also smart to say stay in touch with the secretaries or the assistants of officials. They know what is going on. That is what, because journalism is all about the networking you do, what kind of a network you build around your people, how you contact various people. Going to having in touch with them is always important, because if you are always in touch with them and trying to contact them, whenever there is an incident happening, you come in their mind and they immediately give you a call and try to inform. So, that is how some newspapers could be able to make a exclusive stories unlike the other. So, the way you maintain your contacts is another very important area. And the government news networks sends out regular updates news from departments. Now, today we have a very bad weather condition. So, every day we get news updates about the weather. Government also is supposed to be releasing them. If there is a cyclone, the government will release a press release about the cyclone, who all supposed to be alert, where all the possibility of weather drastic effects are there. So, all this comes from the government source. Then comes the very important area where we get lot of news information is from Parliament or Assembly. Now, the sessions are going on. If you have observed very well, there is lot of news that is possible. So, there are so many debates, questions, arguments, talkings between in the assembly, outside the assembly, lot of information is available. So, all that is a source for you to write stories. All this happens commonly for everybody, but the thing is how you as a journalist, how you as a reporter of so and so paper are able to give a different angle and try to present the story. So, these are the another very important and should not be missing kind of a stories that are available. Then comes courts. They are another place where we find stories, because so many public appeals will be happening, so much of argument goes inside the courtroom, but all that you having a separate sources will be able to get the information. If it is a public related issue, you need more information rather than private stories. So, public case files or talking about the staff and also the lawyers, the kind of an rapport you maintain with the lawyers always important for you, because you get more authentic information, you are getting from the right person. We have so many times celebrities also involved in certain cases. So, in these cases people will be more curious and interested to know. So, if you have your own network other than the regular story that is given by the other people, you will have a upper edge by getting more detailed and authentic information from the lawyer. We have seen number of cases like this happening. Some papers or channels will be able to give a more information compared with the other. So, even corporate sector is a big sector, you have lot of money flow there, so many people are working, lot of business companies are associated, they arrange meetings, they arrange conferences, they do big business dealings, and also they have a connection with the government. Sometimes government also interferes into these issues. So, you need something called like PR sector associated with business companies. So, these PR agencies, every business organization will have their own PROs who organize press conferences and press releases. They keep giving often based on the conditions. You have to get information, access to that, and that information related with the market, products, or even the kind of an event or upcoming issues that they have, everything will be provided over there. So, it is very important to look at and get the information from all these sources. Then comes very important area, which is the online sources. Now, we are living in a digital world, isn't it? And in this digital world, we have lot of information everywhere. just a click of button, you get lot of content on everything that you would like to know. But it is a smarter move if you know how to use that content. That content is accessible to everybody, but how are you trying to get use of that information is a vital thing. Now these days a lot of government data is also available on the online, right? You wanted to go to those official websites, go click there, you get who is who, what they are, what is their position, along with their designations, what kind of activities they are doing, with photographs also sometimes you get, with video content also sometimes you get. So reporters can access all this data, and special softwares also help them, especially computer assisted journalism has become more these days, and especially adding to the concept of AI these days. You have AI helping you in terms of writing your content, polishing your content the way you wanted it to be fitting to your organization goals and requirements. So, to say an example here, if you want to know who gets the highest salary in one particular department of a government organization, a computer can give you a list of the people who are there and what are their salaries, from which year they are working, what is their position and everything. Without this, it would take days for you to check printed documents manually, or even if you go to the organization also, they won't be everybody will be very free to give you information. So, you should do your homework before you are working on any kind of an important stories. Now, let us try to understand little deeper about press conferences, because they are the key source of information and an official source of information for many journalists. And how should you look at press conferences, and how will they help you in terms of writing your stories? It is a great source, as I told you, for news, especially for televisions, and that need a lot of fresh content, because the person, whoever is trying to organize the press conference, the two main reasons why they hold. One is either to answer many questions when there is an issue and that needs to be addressed and need to be told to the people, they call for press conferences. So, they address that issue with the the questions they are around that particular topic, or to get media attention to something. So, suppose I wanted to launch a new product, I can call for a press conference, I can go to a press club and then call for a press conference. So, I talk about my product, so the journalist will come. So, sometimes the speakers give a statement. So, I talk about my product, or I talk about the political stand that I have towards particular party if I am a political leader, and reporters will ask me questions after I complete my statements and the information I wanted to give. Reporters will ask me questions. So, sometimes only one thing happens. So, only I just speak, I do not want to take any questions, this is the information, that is it. There is a possibility, and now here comes your duty as a reporter. After the press conference also, there are certain things that you have to keep in your mind. Okay, what are they? Especially with politicians and celebrities, sport teams and even police officers hold these events for publicity or even manage media pressure. So, many cases are there, not one, there are many cases which are an example of this. Press conferences can happen at hotels or even the press clubs, or even at their sites or in their offices also, based on the incident or based on the disaster, whatever is there. They are a key for the journalism and often lead to major news stories, as I told you. So, you need to be prepared before you go for a press conference, and you need to be prepared, and even after the press conference also, there are certain things that you have to clarify from your end. What are they? I will give you some of the tips to you make it more press conference interesting. One is prepare a list of questions before you go. Usually, the media organizations get the information about any press conferences a day before only. So, tomorrow's schedule is planned today itself at your desk. So, before you go to the organization, they keep a list of the things available for you, whose press conference, which reporter is going. So, if it comes onto your desk, then you will get to know that this press conference is there. So, you have to prepare list of questions before you are going there. You should have some knowledge about the person who is going to sit in front of you and talk today. And when the conference is going also, listen very carefully and make note of very important points, which you probably can take note again later when you are writing. Your camera person or the people who are coming with you probably recording it, but you should also have some understanding how you should design this particular story. So, ask short and clear questions, because they will not give you much time. After you raise your hand, then you start thinking or going beating around the bush, they may not respond to you and move to the next person. So, you have a very limited time and you should be able to make use of that time very effectively. confirm the names and the details of the event from the PR staff after the press conference is over. This is what I was telling. So, during the press conference, whatever they wanted to tell, they will tell. But after the conference is over, there are certain things that you should keep in your mind. Go to them, check with the names, spellings, designations and other details which have been provided, which are very vital, because any mistake in these areas could also fall back on your organization and your ability. If possible, speak to the speaker privately for exclusive information and rapport building. As I told you, it's always about how would you build your rapport with the leaders and also the other people who are associated with the program. Then comes the personal contacts. As I told you, you should have a very good contact list as a journalist. It's always important, and use someone whom you know from you can suppose you know one person who is in government sector or in a private sector or politically influenced, use that person to get more contacts. From there you keep building it. Okay, start with the head of the department or the leaders, or always check both sides of a story. Just because you know the people, you cannot write the story in a positive style. You need to check what is information given by them, is it authentic or not. Verifying it is very important. And also use blogs or social media posts only for getting a contacts, but not writing a story, because personal blogs and all things are subjected to a person's opinion. So you cannot make them as your source of information, but they can help you in building your questions or writing your further stories or reaching out some other people to do a new story. So remember, social media is opinion based one and not always factual. That's another important point to keep in mind. So, quick summary of what we discussed regarding the news sources so far is about news can come from many people, whether it's government, police, court, businesses or any other place. Some sources are open to all of us, like something like a press conference or which are exclusive, but whereas something which is very personal. A good reporter builds a trust, keeps sources safe and always verifies his information before he is going to publish them. And modern journalism has a facility of internet, database and social media, where you can check your content once and twice and then go ahead, but you get lot of information in just one click. There is another area which is very important, which is interviews. They are powerful source of information. We will talk about them in little later, but offering direct insight into the people involved in the story makes the story even more interesting. Now we will see how a reporter can develop his news sources. You have to stay in touch with the people, as I already told you. Always keep in touch with them, regularly keep them reminding about yourself. Then be honest with your work, don't mislead your sources, don't try to make them the way that you wanted them to talk. Okay, and look beyond the usual contacts, talk to not always routine sources, try different types of sources which are available. Know where the records are available, whether they are public or any other places. Okay. So, then comes observations. These are very important skills that reporters should have, because when you go to the scene of incident, you must be able to know what is there, how things are happening, who is telling truth, who is not telling truth. Always you have the police records are very important. Look at the photographs, graphics and get it clear from the local people as well. Then comes the art of interviewing. Art of interviewing is a very good technique, and in this technique it is important that you have certain things kept in your mind. Are you interviewing a full length article, a person, or a program or a TV show? Based on that your approach has to be. Okay, and before you are interview someone, learn everything about the topic and the person. This is very important. Making that person sit in front of you and asking him his own details doesn't really good in the interview. You have to do a homework about the person whom you are interviewing, who he is, from where he has come, what he has done so far. Helps you build a proper and good questions, because questions are a very important thing. How do you do a planning, research on the topic well and learn about the interviewee, what kind of a background that person has, and never twist the questions. Don't try to question such way that you wanted him to answer in one particular manner. Give him that freedom to talk what he wanted to say. Let the people judge about it, and always plan ahead, because if you are interviewing a famous celebrity or any other person, it's always necessary to take their prior appointment. Their family members can help you in this regard. So, it's important that you fix an appointment and then plan your interview. Finally, few tips that can help you in terms of doing a good interview. Before the interview, study the person well, build a rapport as early as possible, set certain rules and clearly to the interview. Sometimes people may talk violent content, or they may try to provoke in his content. They may get diverted from the topic also. Try to bring them back to the topic, and always be on time. If you are on time, you are respecting their time, and they will also respect your time. And also observe the surroundings, what kind of a area. Certain times their locations can also bring some questions in your mind, and be polite and respectful always. Some people often get upset if you don't talk to them politely and ask good questions. Always place the positive questions at the beginning level, and then later you go to the controversial questions, and you find the person is not in giving the answers properly, then you can try to change the mood of the person who is in the interview, because ultimately you should also maintain that rapport for your future programs. And listen to them, maintain eye contact while the interview is happening. You don't talk too much, let the person who is there should talk more, and be kind and respectful when no matter who they are, and before leaving confirm the names and titles and the designations of the people, and also ask if there is anything they wanted to add, because last minute also while they are going to end, they may probably give you more information. So, to quickly summarize what we discussed so far, interviews are key tool for gathering facts directly from people. So, prepare well, know the topic and the person you are interviewing, build a good rapport earlier only, and be polite, or start with some light questions when you are starting. Observe carefully so that 2-3 questions you can get then and there which you might have not prepared in your questionnaire. Ask clear questions, listen more, talk less, and don't hesitate asking in a clarification, because ultimately your target is your audience, not the interviewee. And let them speak freely, but always verify their names, titles and details before leaving. As well done interviews can lead to a powerful exclusive stories for any media platforms. So, it is important you as a journalist maintain this kind of rapport with the people, and you can start doing. Sometimes you get an opportunity to interview a big personalities in a very young age. At that time you hesitate, but they may also try to test your patience as well. So, certain situations then and there on field you should be able to handle. So, this comes with experience. Interviews give you a different kind of experiences. So, this also leads towards the help of the sources you have. So, first you build your sources. Through your sources you try to get in touch with the leading personalities who are involved in the media, and then you try to take the interviews. 3 more minutes? 2 minutes? Huh? Okay. Yeah. So, quickly summing up the entire thing, now we have discussed about various sources that come, whether they are official sources or unofficial sources, and you being a journalist always have to protect your sources. Some can be publicly mentioned, certain sources cannot be mentioned publicly, they can go as anonymous. So, as a journalist you may also get some pressures on yourself while you write stories. So, you must be able to take that and be prepared for such kind of stories as well. And then when you are trying to reach out to the public platforms in terms of gathering information, whether it is a government organization or private organization, nobody would politely invite you and give the information. So, you have to put in your certain efforts to get the access to the documents. If they are publicly available documents, it is easily possible to get, but if they are private documents and sensitive documents, you will have to struggle a lot and look for other ways to get the access to the content. And be very careful when you are trying to take content from the online platforms, because online platforms give you lot of information that could be authentic and unauthentic. So, authentic informations usually have proper websites like gov.in or edu.in like that, but unofficial blogs, sites can also give you information with their own version. So, understand difference between analysis and also the original report. Based on that you take the content from there, and on that you can build your own story, how you can give a different angle. If there is already a story existing on this, you need not write the same story. Try to change the story to another level, and give a new angle to the existing story. If already one story is there in the market, people won't be interested. And while interviewing, there could be some studio setup kind of interviews will be there. There will be some interviews which are on field interviews, there will be some interviews which are telephone interviews. So, based on the interview and the base of a rapport you have with the person with whom you are interviewing, you have to frame your questions and ask them in such way that you will be able to get the content you wanted from them. If you won't be able to get that content from them, your story will be a routine story like any other. Wanted to make it exclusive and something interesting? It's always important to have presence of mind and then and there able to take certain decisions which are very important in the field of journalism. Thank you so much for listening.